Thanks, Trevor. It's really great that you all are here tonight, and I appreciate it very much. Before I offer some remarks, I want to introduce and ask my special guest, our special guest here tonight, to say a few words to you. Now, this is a gentleman that I met back in, he probably doesn't even remember this, but old South Street restaurant.
I do remember.
And I was on the R&D committee for the Republican Party here. This young man came in, and he was very articulate and very well-spoken, and said he wanted to run for the legislature. Do you remember that, David?
He was articulate.
He just
That's who that was.
But anyway, I'm sure he doesn't need an introduction to you all here, and I very much appreciate him coming all the way back to Charlottesville, which he enjoys doing, I know, to be with us tonight. And I wanted to ask him to say a few words, if you wouldn't mind, Paul.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Kim, for that very nice introduction. I do remember the South Street meeting. I think I met probably a few other folks at that occasion. And it is always a real special blessing for me to be able to come back home and to share moments like this with people that I genuinely love and who have been helpful to me over the years during my campaigns when we had such a great time. And, all of us pitched in and worked very hard to get me elected to the legislature and to make a difference here in Virginia, and I hope we were able to do that in some respect. I want to say before I begin my remarks that I'm particularly delighted to see my former chairman, the chairman of my campaign, Bessie Burkhead, who's seated right here. And Bessie has been there literally since day one. There are a lot of folks who like to claim today that we've been there since day one when they really weren't, but Bessie truly was there from day one, and she's been very helpful and inspirational to me over the years. I also want to introduce my lovely wife, Carol, who's standing in the back there.
Which is the reason you came back to show her off.
And we're all here this beautiful evening to lend our support to one of Albemarle County's finest public servants. I've known Ken and Brenda for, I guess, about 15 years now, and they were, again, very supportive and helpful to me in my campaigns. And over that span of time, I've gotten to know Ken well. And what I can say about Ken is that he possesses a lot of the qualities and characteristics that are sorely missing in Washington today. He's honest, he's trustworthy, he's dependable, he actually reads bills, and he's not afraid to take controversial positions. He's principled, and I think that's what Americans are looking for more than ever from their leaders today. I live in Fairfax. We drove down this afternoon. I was behind a car with Pennsylvania tags that had the right blinker on, and got to the intersection and the darn car turned left. Figured it was all inspector. And there's so many politicians today who say one thing and then do another when it counts, and it's left a lot of us feeling very frustrated and asking ourselves, what do we do? We are watching the country that we love so much, that has given so much not only to us individually in terms of opportunity, and to our grandparents and foreparents who came in many cases to America seeking opportunity, or who grew up, as I did, here in this county and all over this country, with the strong hope that if we worked hard and played by the rules, that we could succeed and make something of ourselves in this country. And I think a lot of Americans feel that that's sort of slipping away. And it's left a lot of us troubled and concerned, and it stretches our desire and our natural inclination to be optimistic about our future. But we must remain optimistic. We have to, because we are the last best hope. We who still believe in those principles of faith and family and freedom and smaller government and lower taxes, fewer government bureaucracies and burdens, things that make it difficult for small businesses to grow and to prosper, which is what this country needs more than ever. We don't need more government takeover of entire industries. And we need to support our men and women in the military. Our country is fighting on two fronts now, in Afghanistan and Iraq, but there's really a third front. There's a front here, right here at home, where Americans more and more feel like their own government is at conflict with the very core ideals and principles that we all believe in. And that's unacceptable, and we have to work hard to do something to change that. And we can change that by electing folks like Ken Boyd to Congress. Republicans now hold 177 seats in the House of Representatives. Democrats hold, I think, 254 seats. And so we need 40 seats to take over the House and send Nancy Pelosi back to California. Right. Where the state motto is fruits, nuts, and flakes, and sent her right back out to California, where she belongs. But this campaign is very important, not only for Virginia, but for the country. Every congressional race this year matters. We need 40 seats, and I think we can do our part here in Virginia to make it 39. Just make it, we can make it one seat less that we have to pick up by sending Ken to Washington. First, we have to get him elected so that he can be the Republican standard bearer. And he is a standard bearer. He has a long history of cutting taxes here in the county. He's a small businessman. He knows what it is to start a small business, to create jobs, employ people, and the difference that small business makes in our economy today. But I don't want, what I fear is that as much as Obama's doing all he can to get as many Republicans elected this November as possible, yeah. And we certainly appreciate that. Yeah. But we can't take anything for granted. We need 40 seats, and I sense this, we're going to take over Congress mentality among many Republicans that I talked to today, and I think that's dangerous. We cannot assume that just because things are the way they are today, that 6 months from now it's going to be the same story. We've got to work hard, we've got to earn those seats, and we've got to make sure that we send as many Democrats packing as possible. And to get us there, it's not going to be sufficient for Republicans just to run on a campaign of no. No, we don't believe in, no. We need to have a more positive vision. We've got to say we need a campaign of yes. There are certainly policies that we should say no to and that we must say no to. But the American people today are not going to be swayed to come to our party if all they hear us saying is no, because it gives us the appearance of being obstinate and not forward-looking and not very creative and not solving problems. And we have too much of that kind of mentality in Washington today, which is why it's difficult to get a lot of things done. But we need a campaign of yes that stands in vivid contrast to the secular Chicago machine that's running Washington today.